everybody. Back to the Roundtable. We're at it again. I'm your host, Bambino Brown. I've got my man, Coach Tony Brace, and my man, Masta Phi. Today's topic, gentlemen, I'm excited about it. What we're talking about today is the Mizzou students' protest and the University of Missouri and everything that's going down along with that whole thing that's going on there with the hunger strike and the student protests and the resigning of the president. Come on, let's kick this thing off, man. I know you guys want to get involved. We're live right now, so if you want to send in anything on Twitter, we'll answer a few questions along this here episode. So let's get at it.
Hashtag the Roundtable. So basically what we're talking about is obviously what's been all over the news with the University of Missouri and all the students, African American, and then in turn the faculty and pretty much a lot of the student body coming in solidarity with all the racially provoked incidences that have been happening on that campus recently. And now that people are doing more investigation, it's actually a culture there from what's coming out.
It's spreading along to other campuses and other student bodies and whatnot. You're seeing other people have to resign. You're also seeing the power that the students have and the athletes have. Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that was special, a lot of the educational programs talked about this racial profiling, and they weren't able to get the same result as the athletes. Now, when the athletes don't perform, we're talking about millions of dollars. Now we're talking about the power of the athletes, that moolah. When they can't get their TV contracts on deck, now it's forcing the president to resign.
Isn't that interesting, though?
Isn't that interesting?
Man.
Forcing him.
The power of the dollar.
It's not surprising either, though. It's really not. So what the events that took place, just to summarize, is there obviously have been some racially provoked incidences that happened to African American students. They brought it up to the president and the chancellor, President Tim Wolf, and apparently those complaints got swept under the rug. Every time there was an incident, there was some incident with some student smearing feces and a swastika symbol on an African American's door down there.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. We'll fix that situation tomorrow. Out of here.
I think it all started with a post from one of the presidents of the student association.
Peyton Head.
Yeah, Peyton Head. He had sent out a message on Facebook and kind of went viral with the students on campus. For whatever reason, he didn't get the feedback that he was looking for from the appropriate parties, whether it's the president, leadership.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, what was it, like 36 players joined in terms of student camaraderie, if you will, and they stuck together, right?
Yeah.
And we know it's a black thing, it's an African American thing, but there was a lot of students from all different races and ethnicities that came together to make this power play. Because that's how I look at it. This is a power play.
The younger generation, for the most part, have friends of all ethnicities, and a lot of them saw that this stuff was going on and felt bad. If they were black, they were like, I wouldn't want to be treated like that.
Right.
And so basically with this episode, we want to talk about the courage of the students to come together and actually do this, for the gentleman to start the hunger strike and make it known and get the attention, and for the athletes to support him. So we want to give them props for having the courage. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
Yeah, man, we're going to get into the economic impact of what took place here in terms of this decision by them having the audacity to do something like this, because it takes a lot of guts to do this.
Yeah.
But this isn't the first time that this has been done. Back in 2003, not 2003, but 2013, players at Grambling State had boycotted over poor playing conditions. So this isn't the first time that this is happening, but isn't it interesting that now it's getting the national attention?
Right.
Back in 2013 when Grambling State did it, nobody cared, for whatever reason.
Right. Well, probably they don't have a contract like Mizzou has with the networks for football.
Nobody was losing a million.
Nobody was losing. It didn't have enough money behind it. It didn't have enough meaning.
Yes.
Money and meaning in corporate America. It's just a black school who doesn't have a field that they can play on. Go play on that dirty field and figure it out.
Yeah.
But now the students are going to play and we're going to lose millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Wolf, he's only been here 3 years. February 2012 to November 9, 2015.
Right.
And they've been talking about this the whole time. Now, when a situation like this comes up with money, he resigns immediately.
Yeah.
Powers that be get on his head. You out of here, bro.
Right. But I just wanted the viewers to know that.
Yeah.
2013, because that's something interesting
That's
that
very
you want to hold on to. And then lastly, we want to focus on, where should the student athletes go from here?
Wow. Yeah.
We're going to give some opinions, if you will, from our points of view on what we think that the student athletes should do. Because I know I have some interesting points from economic.
And you were a student athlete.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was.
So,
Over at Hampton University, I ran track and field for Hampton University. Did a little bit of time at Virginia Tech. So, I got a little taste of the small school and the big school, and those are two different big pools of money. Virginia Tech, Division I Single A, Hampton University, Division I Double A, and those pools of money are completely different. So, and money plays a huge factor, like Coach was saying, with economics. So, we're going to get in that too.
So let's just jump right in.
Yeah, with all the money being generated, it's always been a topic: should athletes be paid?
Mm-hmm.
Should they be compensated? You got student athletes like that went to Michigan, the Fab Five. That said, they're the biggest thing in Michigan. They're all over TV. Their jerseys are the #1 selling jerseys in American college sports. They're making millions of dollars. They look in a store and see their jersey, and they're eating TV dinners at home. Can't afford to go to the store and can't afford to do any of that. So, with all the risks that they have as far as injury and whatnot, shouldn't they be granted maybe some compensation when they graduate, maybe some type of investment in a future business or some form of compensation?
When you look at it, when I hear that argument a lot, especially me being an athlete, or I was an athlete, a lot of people are going to challenge you with that, saying they get a free education, or they get compensated for a percentage of their scholarship that pays for their education. But like the point you made, the education that's paid for, that doesn't also pay for the wear and tear on your body.
Right.
Once you get that degree and you walk out, you don't get that mileage back on your knees, on your muscles, on your joints. You don't get them back.
Right.
So that's
And let's be clear in terms of the scholarships. When you sign up to go to a program on a full ride, if you will,
right,
you're not getting a full 4 years, right?
No.
At the end of the day, this is year by year based on performance.
Right.
Performance.
So those that do counter that argument and say, well, they're getting their education, it's not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed.
Right?
Or
you blow out your knee,
right.
Coach can say, hey, I'm cutting that. We got 52-man
more
roster.
scholarship for you.
Sorry, go transfer to a JC or D3 school, right?
On that point,
happens,
a student, he's a sophomore. He's on a championship team. Tears his knee out that year, but they still win a championship. So he was a part of a school win that generated millions of dollars for the institution. But next year, he can't play anymore. What happens to that student?
Yeah.
How is he compensated for his knee injury? Does he get to finish his full ride-out scholarship?
Right.
So maybe they need to change the language within the contracts and scholarships. I'm sure that this incident could help push that along, but if we don't stick to it and we let it go and sweep under the rug, it's going to be another topic swept under the rug by Paris, because now people are tweeting on Paris saying, hey, well, these kids in Mizzou, they're just complaining. Right. They're just complaining. They always want to complain about, they should be happy just to be in this country.
You know what? I want to circle back on the economics. Let's talk about the courage in the monumental moment in history with these college athletes. I've never seen anything like this to take place in terms of social status with athletics since Muhammad Ali, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. None of the professional athletes would do it, right?
Right.
I mean,
right.
When Donald Sterling kind of got out of pocket, if you will, you had the Clipper players turn their jerseys inside out.
They didn't stop playing.
They
didn't say we're not going to play for it.
So let's talk about the courage
Yeah.
of these young people at this campus. Let's talk a little bit about the courage. What are your thoughts on that, Phi?
Well, I think, first off, I want to send a big shout out to the University of Missouri football team, as well as the students that did the hunger strike. I want to send a shout out to all the faculty that walked out in solidarity. I mean, that school cuts your guys' paychecks too. Yeah. And you guys saw a moral problem that was happening at that university, and you stood your ground. And I highly, shout you guys out for that. When it comes to the football team and the decision that they made, it's huge for the fact that they have dreams too. They're throwing their season in jeopardy. They're throwing their scholarships on the line, and even with everything that's taken place, we still don't know the ramifications that's going to happen. Because obviously the president, Tim Wolf, has stepped down. They have brought in an interim president. So them having the courage to do that and reach that desired result is huge.
Yeah, maybe.
Because they basically hit the university for their pockets. And people talk about it all the time, how they have the potential, they have the possibility, they have the right to do it, but nobody does it. But then, like Coach said, we've never seen it before. It actually happened. They stood down. The players stood down. The coach, who's Caucasian, he even stood by the players and said, we're not playing. They had a game scheduled with BYU, Brigham Young, and if they didn't play, the school was going to get fined $1 million. And from that aspect, looking from the top down, they didn't care who the president was. They got to go because they're not going to take it.
And that's my definition of
Courage.
right? Because I'm sure the head coach, right?
Oh, yeah.
Dealing with potential ramifications.
Yeah, job security.
Fear, right?
Fear,
he had a family.
Yeah.
But he was still willing to go forward and support his players. What are your feelings on this whole courage aspect with the athletes and the people that support the athletes?
The people that supported the athletes, I want to give them their props. The teachers, all the faculty. It took a lot of courage. It took a lot of will. It took a lot of integrity, which I know they all have. But the students, I give so much props for their strength, because it's a lot of life-threatening things going on where students are being threatened for their lives, and you got a lot of hate crimes going on, and people's lives, when your life is in jeopardy and you still stand up, that just takes a lot of courage. So I want to give props to the students. Stand for something or fall for anything, and we commend you at Hip Hop Success. We're supporters. We're proud of you for the most part, and anybody supporting doing the right thing, because that's what we're about at hiphopsuccess.tv, is integrity and just trying to do the right thing. Not saying that we're perfect, but striving to be better and striving to do the right thing always.
That's right. Now on the flip side of that, I know you was doing some diligence, because my man Phi is he gets his journalism on.
That's right.
And on the flip side of the coin, when you were talking about threats and the different opposite forces, if you will, you found some interesting things people were saying on Twitter and all that sort of thing. Share with the viewers what you discovered, Phi.
So, with the incidences that were happening at the University of Missouri, with the African American students going through racial prejudices and events happening there, there's obviously a opposite side of it that didn't see nothing wrong with it. Now, in light with the Paris attacks that have happened, it overshadowed some light or it actually gave some shade to the situation at Missouri that's still currently going on too. But with that, I saw some very, very disturbing tweets on Twitter that I would like to share with you guys. So I was on there. I saw a man by the name of Mark Dice on Twitter, speak verbatim from what he said. He said, "Someone want to tell the Mizzou students what happened in Paris? They could use a lesson in what real oppression and hatred is."
Isn't that interesting?
I was like, wow. But wait, it gets worse. So then, looked up a man named Dan Joseph, and this was just on #Mizzou. I just #Mizzou, went into that hyperlink, and there was the most disturbing tweets, man. Dan Joseph said, hey, Black Lives Matter. This is your cue to STFU and realize that you're lucky to live here. Really?
In 2015.
It's a privilege.
Oh, yeah.
It's a privilege, huh?
But get this. This is the last one. Judith Miller, who was a former New York Times journalist, she said, "Now maybe the whining adolescents at our universities can concentrate on something other than their need for safe spaces." Safe spaces, she put in quotations.
Right.
Cry about the need for safe spaces.
So clearly there was opposite forces, right?
Absolutely.
And these young kids, because I'm 37 years old, so I look at them as young kids, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, knew what they were facing.
Right.
With people like this. There's tens of millions of people that feel that way, and then on the flip side, there's tens of millions of people that feel the way that we feel, in terms of saying, you know what, kudos for these kids for stepping up to the plate.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, man?
I just say props to the kids for standing up, and props to the people, even the white students who knew that they had friends who might not agree with this and maybe had some racial tension and still standing for what they felt was right and going against the grain.
That's right.
And just saying, I'm going to go with what's right. So at the end of the day, it's 2015, like you said. All cultures bring something to the table. We're trying to get educated. We're trying to have a safe environment.
That's right.
We're trying to get the sports on TV and let these students thrive and show their skill, as well as get educated in a safe environment that allows everybody to learn and bring something to the table, which is that brain, that third eye. So that's pretty much what I'm saying. Props to the students of Mizzou, and thank you for standing up, because it opened up a lot of doors for other schools to address the same issues.
Yeah, and I want to transition from the courage piece back to the economic piece, because this display of heroism, okay?
Oh, that's a great word.
Yeah.
This is heroic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's be clear.
Very heroic.
Yeah.
Now it puts the college athlete in a position of where they understand their clout, okay? And what I mean by that is just giving them more leverage, not just necessarily money. I'm talking about having the NCAA examine policies around concussions. We're talking about having the NCAA examine policies about transfers, red shirt transfers, making this person sit out, making this person,
health coverages, all kind of stuff.
They got about 1,000 different rules. And now that the players have some power, I'm not suggesting that they unionize, but if they do unionize, that's up to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But they know that they can come together as a team, because team stands for together everybody achieves more, right?
Roger.
Collectively, they flex that power and demand change, and I believe that they're going to get change.
And they learn what power they have. And I think that goes in all sports, and that goes in all facets of life, period.
Yeah.
You learn your economic value.
Know your worth.
Know your worth. It holds power.
Yeah. And
that goes with anything. It goes down to Donald Sterling, even though his mistake ended up making him more money, because he had to sell the team and ended up getting more money. But at the end of the day, it showed the power when everybody sticks together to make somebody have to step down. Because if the masses say this is what we feel, then the power's got to adjust to what the masses feel. And it just showed the power of the masses.
I'm curious, because Phi was a full ride athlete, track and field, University of Hampton, Virginia Tech. What were some of the things that you and the athletes during your era wanted that the NCAA didn't provide? Whether it was for your buddy to buy you a burrito and it was breaking the rules if they bought you a burrito. What were some of the concerns you guys had back in the day?
Well, just like the conversation we had earlier, we all talked about getting paid outside of just getting an education, because like we said, we talked to alumni that would come back, that graduated, that used to be on the team. They would come back, and they had jobs and everything, but they would always talk about injuries that they had during the season, that we remember seeing them getting injured, and they're not getting compensated for that. And we felt that was a huge deal.
So some of them risked a disability for life.
Yeah, I'm a veteran in the military. I was a veteran in the military. I am one, and they compensate us because we claim disability. We have that benefit. Honestly, with college and the amount of dollars that collegiate sports brings into these universities, I think they need to, like we said, they need to sit at this table now that these players have this, realization and power that they have. They can get these people to sit at the table and talk about these.
So was that something that you guys actually discussed as student athletes? As it would be nice if we got paid a stipend, something, right?
Yes. Now, not officially. We didn't go, to the coach and bring this. This was just,
amongst
amongst
your peers.
Exactly.
This has been an ongoing conversation. For a long time. This is nothing new. It's just back to the original point. The courage of these students brought it to the forefront. So now that you understand the power that you have, let's use it to make positive change within the NCAA system. Point blank, period. This is the Roundtable. This is hiphopsuccess.tv. Masta Phi, Tony Brace, Bambino. Any comments or questions you have, get with us right now at hiphopsuccess.tv. We out.
Peace.
Peace.